did I already do any of the sentencing, or did I just let you guys kind of know that I was leaning towards probation and that we needed to have you like?
I don't have any questions. Tommy explained to me what the restitution would be. We lost a substantial amount of money,
Sure.
and if that's the what we're going to be awarded, I would prefer jail time versus the restitution.
Okay, I understand that completely. Anything else that you'd like to say? Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Coleman.
Just really briefly, Mr. Powell, was any of these losses covered by insurance?
No,
What, if any, effect did it have on Sutherland and its practices going forward?
other than the loss of funds, quite a few effects. We had to change the way our IT department had to change the way some of our transactions are ran, and that they can be rang and returned and voided. Myself, I'm a district manager, so I manage several stores. So myself, it added quite a bit to my duties as far as verifying reports, verifying voids, verifying where transactions are run, and looking at each store transactions daily and talking to the managers to verify why this transaction was running in a certain way and why it was voided. So it adds quite a bit more to my morning. Before I can get started on my store, which is Beaumont, I have to verify the other stores.
And Mr. Powell, we are cutting this down a lot more than what you and I kind of rehearsed or scripted. Just high level, 30,000-foot level for the judge. We have documents here that will show that this defendant essentially engaged in a scheme of enlisting other people or asking other people, but unbeknownst to them, to void transactions and later on remove money from the register. Am I dumbing it down too much?
No, that's actually correct.
Okay.
That's pretty much how we found it because it was a set pattern. The way the system works is if you void a transaction, the transaction disappears. So if you void a transaction and take the money out, we don't know because the money's gone because the transaction's gone. What was happening was a transaction will be rang, the customer pays cash. I reprint the receipt so I know how much to ask for a void for. They would void the transaction, and now I know how much money to take out of the drawer. So what I get in the morning in the past, on my reports, it just says there was a void on, done this day for this amount of money. It doesn't say why or how much or who. Now, and of course, with me trusting my cashiers and my office crew, we have a void, and it says that the customer paid with a card and not cash. I assume that that's what happened, and I let it go.
We've got 139 pages of documents, and these documents essentially show 68 voided transactions totaling $31,134.86, going back to July of
I mentioned earlier, and I think I mentioned it really erroneously, that Miss Leonard had been doing well other than the offenses on probation. It looks like there was issues with community service and lack of doing community service. It looks at only 1 hour of community service had been done. As of March 13th of 2024, 20 hours, October 30th of 2025, after being on probation all this time. So it looks like there was some issue with that. Financial compliance, it says, has been poor. Restitution obligations remain unaddressed, and so she still hasn't paid back the restitution that was owed in the first case to Specs and the second case to Cons. Is that correct?
Has she made up any community service hours since
She's
she put it?
done, she's done just 31 overall.
31.
31 hours, yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, I'm not real sure that I'm on the same page that
I'll be brief, Judge. I think the facts speak for themselves. Judge, I'll just direct the court's attention to page 3 of the PSI, the very first paragraph, where the defendant said, "I let a customer walk out of the store with unpaid merchandise, and he paid me instead." Judge, I don't have the words for how that so understates the 68 voided transactions over over the course of a year or so, Judge, to the tune of $31,000. A theft from Specs, a theft from Cons, and now a theft from Sutherland's She's a serial employee theft offender. Judge,
They're still going towards the probation fees.
Do you have anything to say, Ms. Leonard?
Yes, ma'am. Lot to say. I know we probably don't have that much time, but I'm sorry. I take full accountability for my actions. I wasn't the best person. I didn't really care about things I didn't have. I felt like I didn't have anything to live for. I didn't have nobody, I woke up every day and just went with my day. But I'm a mother now after 3 miscarriages and being told that I'd never be a mother. I take care of my child by myself. Her dad's not in her life. The only help I have with her is my mom. And my mom's a single mother of 4 herself. So, like if I'm not at work, my daughter's with me. I do everything by myself. Doctor's visits, cardiologist visits because she has heart murmur, dentist visits. I do everything by myself. I'm not that person anymore.
I mean, you don't deserve another chance. I appreciate, obviously the change in your life and how that can be very substantial. But I don't understand. I don't think Mr. Coleman was a part of, obviously, why there was a delay. That still gives me some pause in the case is for whatever reason, this sat somewhere in intake or at the agency. We're not sure which, why this case was delayed. And really basically for that reason and the fact that there has not been any new allegation since October of 2020. Well, this allegation was from August of 2023. And here we are in March of 2026. And there hasn't been any new allegation. And I just don't understand the length of time. And Mr. Powell, completely understand your position. There are some other things, obviously, too, that I'm taking into consideration. But Ms. Leonard, if I give you an opportunity today, I don't know how many jobs you've got to get, but you're going to pay some restitution or you're going to go to prison. Period. That's it. I'm not going to listen to it. Do you understand? So what I'm going to do in cause number 19-33340, I'm going to find sufficient evidence to revoke your revoke your probation, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue your probation. I'm going to extend that probation for 5 years. And then I will go through some specific requirements on all of the cases in a minute. And then in cause number 20-36095, also find sufficient evidence to revoke your probation, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue you on probation, I'm going to extend that probation for 5 years. Order, obviously, that you follow all of the rules and conditions of probation, including completing your community service and paying more towards restitution. I'm going to find in cause number 25 DCCR 0297 sufficient evidence to find you guilty. And at this time, I'm going to find you guilty, sentence you to 2 years into the state jail prison, but probate that for 5 years. So I could only probate it for 5 years at the beginning. So you're on probation for 5 years. There won't be a fine in that case. There will be restitution owed in the amount of $4,000. I would like for all of Ms. Leonard's payments to go towards restitution. At this time, it can be divided amongst them, however you guys feel appropriate. But at this point, we need that money going back to the victims.
Yes.
And so let's do it that way. And then Ms. Leonard, you're going to remain on the high medium caseload. And also you're going to be under zero tolerance. Okay. So there's no more whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you miss an appointment. Obviously, if you commit a new offense, test positive, you don't pay restitution, if whatever it is, doesn't matter to me. One thing means you're back in here and you're looking at those 3 2-year sentences. And they can be stacked because this one was convicted after those other 2. So I think we probably can only stack 2, and which means you could end up with a 4-year sentence instead of a 2-year sentence. And I can assure you that Mr. Coleman will remind me of today. He will remind me of Mr. Powell. I typically don't forget things like this. I don't remember a lot, but when we've gone through this as much as we have, it's never a good thing when I remember you or your name, and I do now. So you don't want to be back here in front of me because you now have 2-year sentences. There's no negotiation on whether or not you get less than that. If you violate, it's 2 years in the state jail on every single case because that's your sentence. And then the only determination that would be made at that time is if I stack it or not. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If you have any questions about the laws